Coming up now on your spoiler-free wrestling news rundown, the quarterfinals in the New Japan Cup tournament are set. We've also got updates on the ongoing rivalry between the Guerrillas of Destiny and Bullet Club, plus news from elsewhere around the wrestling world. Subscribe to Spoiler-Free Wrestling for all your wrestling news. On the New Japan Cup Tour this Thursday and Friday, we saw a few developments in the ongoing Bullet Club versus Guerrillas of Destiny rivalry. In the opening contest of Thursday's show, Taiji Ishimori and El Phantasmo picked up a victory over Yo and Tiger Mask. Then in the second match of the show, IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions Taguchi and Master Wato defeated Taka Michinoku and El Desperado. After that match, Ishimori and El Phantasmo attacked the Junior Heavyweight Tag Champs, but Taguchi and Wato were able to get the better of the exchange. But then, Bullet Club's Chase Owens, Bad Luck Fale, and G.O.D attacked as well. Then Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, and G.O.D made the save for Taguchi and Wato, which led right into the scheduled 6-man tag team match between the Guerrillas of Destiny and G.O.D against Fale, Owens, and G.O.D. The finish of that match saw Owens deliver a low blow to G.O.D, followed that up with a C-trigger, and Bullet Club won their third straight over the Guerrillas of Destiny. Then on Friday's show, G.O.D and the Guerrillas of Destiny took on Bullet Club's Bad Luck Fale, Taiji Ishimori, and El Phantasmo inside Korakuen Hall. It looked as though G.O.D was going to get some revenge on G.O.D by hitting him with G.O.D's own brass knuckles, but when the referee went to stop him, it allowed El Phantasmo to hit a low blow on G.O.D again, and then hit him with his sudden death super kick and pick up the fourth straight victory for Bullet Club over the Guerrillas of Destiny. Bullet Club continued the attack after the match until Master Wato and Taguchi made the save. They then took out Ishimori and El Phantasmo, but Bad Luck Fale got his hands on both of them until Tangaloa sent him out of the ring. After some hesitation, the Guerrillas of Destiny and the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Champions shook hands, and now it looks like the Guerrillas of Destiny might have a little backup on their side. Perhaps this could help turn the tide in the rivalry. After the events on Friday's show, Tama Tonga took to Twitter and posted numerous photos of him shaking hands with Taguchi, as well as the Guerrillas of Destiny and Taguchi and Wato raising each other's arms. Tama Tonga captioned this photo of him and Taguchi with the line, "I think I found a new home." So Taguchi and Master Wato now appear to be providing a little bit of backup for the Guerrillas of Destiny, and all of a sudden Bullet Club's numbers advantage isn't as great. So we'll see how this storyline develops in the coming shows. So now let's run down the match results from the New Japan Cup on Thursday and Friday. In the semifinal main event match on Thursday's show, we saw Zack Sabre Jr. defeat the Great Okan. So Zack Sabre Jr., who has had success in this tournament before, he punches his ticket to the quarterfinals. And then in the main event, we saw Will Ospreay defeat Sonata via referee stoppage after Ospreay laid in a series of elbows to his defenseless opponent. It was later revealed that Sonata suffered an orbital fracture and will be out of action for an undetermined length of time. Then on Friday's show, in the semi-main event, Shingo Takagi had been saying that he can defeat Chase Owens in under 5 minutes. Well, he needed much more than 5 minutes, however, to gain the victory. It took him 16 minutes and 41 seconds to defeat Chase Owens with the Last of the Dragon. So now Shingo Takagi punches his ticket to the quarterfinals as well. And in the main event of Friday's show, Hiromu Takahashi picked up the victory over Evil. That is the second big win in a row for Takahashi, who defeated Minoru Suzuki in the previous round. Now Evil, much like he did in his second round match against Tama Tonga, tried to cheat his way to victory, and Dick Togo was on the outside, trying to provide as much interference as he could. However, Takahashi thwarted those attempts and actually picked up the victory with Evil's own finishing move. So now Takahashi moves on to the quarterfinals as well. So the quarterfinals will be held on March 20th and 21st. Here are the brackets for that round. We'll have Kazuchika Okada taking on Shima, and in the semifinals, the winner of that match will take on the winner of Tetsuya Naito and Jeff Cobb. Then on the other side of the brackets, we'll see Zack Sabre Jr. take on Will Ospreay, and also Shingo Takagi taking on Hiromu Takahashi. New Japan Pro Wrestling will also present an episode of New Japan Strong on New Japan World tonight. 3 matches have been booked for the show. They are Keita Murray, Fred Yehi, and the DKC taking on Bateman, Mysterioso, and Barrett Brown. We'll also see Bullet Club's Chris Bay take on Blake Christian. And Buddy Matthews, who's now with the House of Black in AEW, he'll take on Ren Narita in the main event. Then on Sunday, New Japan Pro Wrestling will hold a set of tapings for New Japan Strong as they present Strong Style Evolve 2022 from the St. Petersburg Coliseum in Tampa, Florida. Now, one of the matches scheduled for that show is fairly significant as Andy Brown takes on Hikuleo. This match is significant because we haven't seen Hikuleo since the Bullet Club turned on the Guerrillas of Destiny. The last time Hikuleo wrestled a match was on the New Japan Strong tapings held in the Vermont Hollywood in Los Angeles on February 17th. He defeated Kevin Knight on that show. It was 2 days after that show that Jay White turned on the Guerrillas of Destiny in Impact Wrestling. So it should be interesting to see where Hikuleo goes from here in terms of the rivalry between Bullet Club and the Guerrillas of Destiny. We haven't seen him in a month, but he'll be in action Sunday night in Tampa. New Japan Pro Wrestling also had 2 big announcements concerning its April 16th show in Chicago, Windy City Riot. The first announcement was that this show will be a pay-per-view. You can purchase it on Fight TV and watch it live. And we did have our first confirmed match for Windy City Riot as well, as Jon Moxley will take on Will Ospreay. Now, this stems from Ospreay calling Moxley out at a Revolution Pro Wrestling show in February, and then doubling down on his challenge backstage on the New Japan Cup tour recently. New Japan Pro Wrestling then posted a video to Twitter of Moxley responding to Ospreay, basically saying, "I thought me and you were cool. We shared Korean barbecue together." But they will go one-on-one April 16th from Chicago at New Japan Pro Wrestling's Windy City Riot. On Impact Wrestling this week, there were a couple of segments dedicated to the Bullet Club. Before the Impact pre-show, Carl Anderson defeated Diener of Violent by Design in singles competition. Then after the match, Anderson and Gallows challenged Violent by Design for a rematch for the Impact World Tag Team Championships, and that match will take place on next week's show. Then on the main show of Impact Wrestling, we saw Chris Bay and Jay White take on the Motor City Machine Guns in an ongoing and developing rivalry there. We saw Jay White defeat Alex Shelley recently on an Impact Wrestling pay-per-view. However, it would be the Motor City Machine Guns who would pick up the victory here. It was somewhat in controversial fashion, as the Motor City Machine Guns had hit a double team maneuver on Chris Bay. They then went to pin him, and it appeared as though Jay White broke up the pin in time, but the referee counted the 3 and rang the bell, awarding the match to the Motor City Machine Guns. So this rivalry will continue. We also know that Jay White and Chris Sabin are scheduled to face each other WrestleMania weekend on Impact's Multiverse of Matches show. So we will just see where this rivalry between Bullet Club and the Motor City Machine Guns goes to. Let us know in the comments section what faction of Bullet Club or faction of former Bullet Club members you're cheering for the most. Is it the House of Torture? Is it the Guerrillas of Destiny? Is it Bullet Club? Is it the Elite in AEW? Is it Bullet Club in Impact Wrestling? What faction of Bullet Club or former Bullet Club members are you cheering for the most right now? Let us know in the comments section. There was an injury update on Kenny Omega in the most recent edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Of course, Kenny Omega has been out of action since dropping the AEW World Championship to Hangman Page at Full Gear back in November. Now, at one point, Omega had hoped to return by February, but he'd later say in an interview with Wrestling Observer Radio that it's been difficult to get appointments to deal with his injuries due to COVID-19. However, in this week's newsletter, Dave Meltzer wrote, Kenny Omega is currently recovering from arthroscopic knee surgery. The recovery from this will take about 10 weeks. He will be getting surgery to repair his sports hernia at the end of March, and that's about a 2-month recovery. There are other things he's also taking care of. Meltzer would continue to say that there is currently no timetable for Omega's return. AEW owner and Ring of Honor owner Tony Khan made some announcements this week on Busted Open Radio. Khan said that he plans to relaunch a new Ring of Honor weekly television series, although he's not sure where that show will air or stream. He also mentioned that the Supercard of Honor show on April 1st will be something of a transitional show for the promotion. Here is what Khan had to say. He said, "I see it as a transitional show in many ways that I'm really excited about because it's the first show under the new management. It's also a transitional show before I will relaunch what I hope to be a really great new Ring of Honor television product, a weekly series, wherever it does air or stream." Khan continued to say that Supercard of Honor will go head-to-head with an episode of Rampage on April 1st. However, he does not plan on having Ring of Honor and AEW go head-to-head again in the future. This was just a case of the April 1st date was booked before he bought the promotion. There was also a newly announced match for Supercard of Honor as the Briscoes, Jay and Mark, will defend the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships against FTR. Khan would also say that there will likely be some more AEW talent added to the show as well. Previously booked for the show was Jonathan Gresham defending the ROH World Championship against the man who never lost that title, Bandito. It was a notable episode of AEW Dynamite this week, as we have a new AEW Women's World Champion. Thunder Rosa became the 5th person to ever hold the title, as she defeated Britt Baker in a steel cage match on St. Patrick's Day Slam. It was actually on St. Patrick's Day Slam in 2021 that Thunder Rosa defeated Britt Baker in a lights-out match, but of course, that was an unsanctioned match and so does not count in AEW win-loss records or the standings. So, Britt Baker's title reign ends at 290 days. That's second all-time to Hikaru Shida's 372 days. Shida also defended the title 8 times successfully, whereas Britt Baker defended it 7 times successfully. So, Britt Baker's title reign falls a bit short of Hikaru Shida's, but still a very entertaining title reign nonetheless. Also, as it concerns Bullet Club former members, the elite members on the show, it was a big win this week for Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly in the night's opening contest over AEW World Champion Hangman Page and the AEW World Tag Team Champions Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. It would be Adam Cole getting the pin on Jungle Boy. So one has to kind of wonder now if that sets up Red Dragon and Adam Cole for future title shots. Of course, Adam Cole dropped a title shot to Hangman Page on the Revolution pay-per-view, and Fish and O'Reilly were in a triple threat match along with the Young Bucks and the tag champs on that show as well. However, does this victory now put Adam Cole possibly back in line for another title shot against Page? And does it put Red Dragon in a spot to potentially have a 2-on-2 tag title match with the champions? Scorpio Sky defended the TNT Championship for the first time this week as well. He defeated Wardlow in a match where I think a lot of people thought Wardlow was going to come away the victor. However, Maxwell Jacob Friedman would get involved. He would shove Wardlow into the ring post on the outside, and that allowed Scorpio Sky to pick up the pin on the inside. Of course, Wardlow had turned on MJF at Revolution and allowed CM Punk to pick up the victory over MJF in the dog collar match. So this was MJF getting a little bit of revenge on Wardlow. Also on Dynamite this week, we had Chris Jericho and his Jericho Appreciation Society. They held a commencement segment where they basically introduced themselves. The members of 2.0 got a new name, and Chris Jericho referred to himself as a sports entertainer, and the other members of the group are also sports entertainers. Of course, that term is synonymous with WWE and will get a lot of heat in AEW, which is the point, of course. We also saw Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley team up once again with William Regal in their corner. They defeated the team of Chuck Taylor and Wheeler Yuta from the Best Friends. But then after the match, something interesting happened. Wheeler Yuta appeared to abandon his best friend's teammates and then got back in the ring and began having a conversation of sorts with William Regal that resulted in William Regal giving him a big slap to the face. Yuta then posted this to Twitter following those events with a quote that was likely said to him by Regal, saying, "Go ahead and prove yourself a little more, sunshine." So maybe what's going on here is Wheeler Yuta wants to train with Regal, Danielson, and Moxley. However, Regal wants him to prove himself just a little bit more. Joey Janela took part in an interview with Denise Salcedo recently and said that he does not plan on re-signing with AEW when his contract expires in May. Janela said that at one point he had planned to re-sign with the company, but now he is no longer thinking of doing so. He also mentioned that AEW's talent relations sometimes isn't the best at communicating with talent, and he used the example of Marco Stunt, who hasn't been used by the promotion in several months, and Janela said that they've basically ghosted him, and Marco Stunt has no idea what his status with the company currently is. There were also some reports that came out that Janela had received some backstage heat for being dangerous to work with in the ring, and a specific mention was made to a match with Hangman Page, where Page ended up busted open. However, Janela refuted these claims, and so did Hangman Page on Twitter. Janela responded to someone who was claiming he injured Hangman Page in the match, and this is what Janela said. He said, "LOL, this Hangman deal keeps popping up. Never hurt him or potatoed him. The metal sticking out of my knee brace sliced his head when he popped me up for the bomb. Mainstream wrestling fandom is the most toxic echo chamber of BS. People need something to do on break at Subway." Hangman Page then responded to Janela saying, "Apologies again, nothing but love and respect. Best of luck, and I'll see you down the line." It's also a big weekend for Billy Corgan's National Wrestling Alliance. They will present the Crockett Cup on Saturday and Sunday night from the Nashville Fairgrounds in Nashville, Tennessee. So the tournament itself, we won't get into all the matches, but it involves tag teams such as the Dirty Sexy Boys, Dirty Dango, the former Fandango, and JTG. We'll also see the Briscoe brothers in the Crockett Cup tournament, La Rebellion. Doug Williams and Harry Smith will team up as well. But then on Sunday night, several championship matches have also been booked. Here is the rundown for those. For the NWA World Women's Tag Team Championship, the Hex, Allison Kay and Marty Bell, will defend against Pretty Empowered Ella Envy and Kenzie Page. For the NWA National Championship, we'll see Anthony Mayweather defend against Jax Dane. For the NWA World Television Championship, we'll see Tyrus along with his manager Austin Idol defend against Rodney Mack. For the NWA World Women's Championship, Camille will defend the title in a triple threat against Kylie Ray and Chelsea Green. We will also see a four-way match for the vacant NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship as Austin Aries will take on Homicide, Darius Lockhart, and Colby Carino. Then in the main event for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship with Jeff Jarrett as the special guest referee, we'll see Matt Cardona defend against Nick Aldis. And that'll do it for this video, everyone. Subscribe to Spoiler Free Wrestling for all your wrestling news.